As soon as the student walked into the restaurant, he made a beeline for the counter seats. I politely reminded him to use the hand sanitizer stationed at the entrance. He brushed me off and sat down without complying. Politely but firmly, I asked him once more to sanitize his hands. His response was sharp and disrespectful. Just wash them, okay? The room fell silent as other customers glanced over in surprise. Later, I noticed a social media post criticizing our insistence on hand sanitizer, calling it annoying. Comments followed, echoing similar frustrations. Then came a video allegedly filmed inside our restaurant, showing the cockroach on our counter and insinuating it ended up in the food. The title was Delicious Cockroach Ramen, a cruel fabrication that deeply upset us. Filled with frustration and a sense of injustice, I vowed to uncover the truth. It was unfair to let someone tarnish a place that meant so much to me. My name is Rachel Connor, 41 years old. I live with my husband Bob, our daughter Catherine in second grade, and my mother-in-law. Bob and I met in high school, bonding over meals at his family's Chinese restaurant, where he proudly worked alongside his father, the chef. The food was always exceptional, and our connection grew stronger with each delicious meal. Cooking and baking were passions I shared with my mom, and those shared moments shaped many conversations Bob and I had about food. Although we lost touch during our senior year in different classes, fate brought us back together at culinary school after graduation. Our bond deepened as we spent more time together, eventually leading to us becoming a couple. Post-graduation, I found my place in a French restaurant kitchen while Bob honed his skills in a hotel restaurant. Marriage followed, and when our daughter Catherine was born, I chose to prioritize raising her. Just before Catherine was set to start kindergarten, tragedy struck with the sudden passing of Bob's father. Determined to honor his legacy and keep the restaurant thriving, Bob stepped into his father's shoes. My love for the restaurant's cuisine and our shared dreams led us to run it together. One memorable day, a young man named Josh came in for a part-time job interview. A university student in his second year, he expressed a deep love for our food and eagerness to work with us. Financial constraints initially led us to decline, but Josh's persistence, driven by his passion and need, touched me deeply. Understanding his situation, a single-parent household with a mother who struggled with mobility, I couldn't turn him away. It turned out Josh would order an extra meal daily for his mom, who adored our Chinese dishes but couldn't visit herself. Touched by his dedication, Bob started providing Josh with double portions free of charge, ensuring both Josh and his mom enjoyed our food without worry. Then, one ordinary lunchtime, a college student with blonde hair walked in. Ignoring my reminder to use the hand sanitizer, he brashly claimed he had just washed his hands. The outburst shocked me, leaving the restaurant silent with other customers watching on in surprise. It was a moment of confrontation I had never experienced before, leaving me shaken and speechless. In that tense moment, my husband Bob's voice rang out from the kitchen addressing the blonde-haired college student. "Excuse me, sir. We require everyone to use hand sanitizer here, please." The student shot me a disdainful glance, clicked his tongue, then reluctantly used the hand sanitizer at the entrance before returning to his seat at the counter. I hesitated to take his order, still shaken, but Josh stepped in, reassuringly offering, "I'll handle this one." The student, engrossed in his smartphone, ordered ramen. As he finished his meal and paid, he cast us a smug and unsettling smile before departing. "Seems like we've been quieter lately. Could it be because of COVID? Bob mused aloud. It's true COVID has slowed things down, but we're the only Chinese spot in the neighborhood with loyal regulars, I replied. We've taken precautions, sanitizing rigorously and installing acrylic barriers. Maybe people are just staying in more because of the virus. Not much we can do about that, Bob sighed. Yeah, can't blame them for being cautious. Maybe we should consider delivery until things settle, I suggested, noticing even the candy store next door was struggling. Everyone's feeling the pinch. During those uncertain times, it seemed all businesses, especially in hospitality, were feeling the pandemic's impact. Weeks passed, and our customer numbers dwindled further, causing even Bob to worry. Then one day, Josh burst into the restaurant looking alarmed. "Boss, you need to see this. It's serious." Bob and I gathered around Josh as he showed us a video on his phone. Clear as day, our restaurant's counter was shown with a cockroach crawling, shockingly being placed into a bowl of ramen. The video was titled Delicious Cockroach Ramen, prominently displaying our restaurant's logo. Though the person's face was blurred, the distinctive physique and unmistakable kitchen confirmed it was our establishment. The comments flooded in with harsh criticisms. Premium broth? More like a bug buffet instead of Chinese cuisine. Sanitation must be a joke here. Dirty restaurant alert. Amidst the vitriol, some dubbed it the tasty bug Chinese joint. It was clear someone had taken and doctored photos from inside, then posted this deceitful video. It was beyond forgiveness. All we wanted was to serve our patrons, so why such malicious sabotage? We refused to let this injustice stand. Josh simmered with rage. The next day, despite Bob and I still reeling from shock, we mustered the strength to open shop. We unlocked early, usually a time when a few regulars dropped by, but today not a soul arrived by noon. From inside, I glimpsed people strolling along the main street. Squinting, I noticed something peculiar. Passers-by glanced into our eatery, some smirking. Intrigued, I ventured outside for a closer look. Groups huddled nearby, phones raised for photos and whispers circulating. Concerned about another social media debacle, I swiftly checked popular platforms. Sure enough, photos of our restaurant surroundings and the nearby subway station circulated with captions like "Bug Chinese spot nearby." Ours was the lone Chinese eatery in the vicinity, unmistakably clear from the images. Reluctantly, I scrolled through comments. Isn't that the bug-infested place near the West Station exit? Ate there once, never again. I used to love their dishes, but this is disgusting. It was devastating. With such rumors circulating, it was no wonder patrons shied away. Crushed by the online onslaught, our family reluctantly decided to close our doors. A few days later, as I stepped outside early in the morning to take out the trash, I was met with a disheartening sight. Trash littered the front of our restaurant's entrance. Grabbing a broom, I hurried to clean up the mess. As I neared the entrance, my heart sank. Spray painted in bold red on the shutter was the damning phrase, "Bug-infested place." I stood frozen, the broom slipping from my grasp, staring blankly at those hurtful words. Eventually, I returned home crestfallen, only to find Bob, slumped over and visibly distressed. "What's happened, honey?" I asked, my voice laced with concern. Bob hesitated before revealing the latest blow. "One of our suppliers wants to sever ties with us," he explained. "There's a photo circulating online of their delivery box at our back entrance. They've been harassed and shamed for continuing to work with us, labeled as supplying that bug-ridden Chinese place. They had a long-standing connection with Dad, and I can't let them suffer because of us." "Bob, Rachel, it's all right," interjected my mother-in-law, her voice filled with resignation. "Thank you for keeping this place running. Maybe it's time we close up and find somewhere quiet to start anew." "Closing down? Is that really our only option?" I lamented, seeing the despair etched on both Bob's and his mother's faces. It felt like we were teetering on the edge of hopelessness. "I'll find work, Bob. Please keep the restaurant going. This was Dad's dream, his hard work. Please let's find a way," I pleaded, and together, late into the night, we hashed out our options. "We'll keep pushing through," Bob reassured me. Finding a new supplier, we resumed operations. Meanwhile, I secured a job at an office not far from the restaurant. Bob innovated with new menu items and personalized service for our loyal patrons. Unfortunately, under financial strain, we had to let go of our part-timer Josh, promising to bring him back once things stabilized. For weeks, Bob and my mother-in-law managed the restaurant while I worked outside. One evening, returning home, my mother-in-law beckoned me urgently to the living room. Her face serious, she began to speak. "It's about Catherine," she started solemnly, leading me to sit down. Catherine had been in tears in her room earlier. When questioned, she revealed she was being bullied at school. She recounted finding a plastic bag filled with dead roaches in her desk that morning. Shocked, she had thrown it on the floor, only for a classmate to cruelly remark, "Don't toss that around. Save it for your bug-infested restaurant." With a heavy heart, my mother-in-law showed me a note that read boldly, "I am a bug girl." She explained, Catherine brought this home stuck to her backpack, not noticing it until she reached her room. It devastated her. Since our restaurant became a target online, Catherine's classmates have begun teasing her with bug girl taunts, associating her with the false rumors of our bug-serving Chinese restaurant. Despite her protests that we didn't serve insects, they showed her misleading social media posts, undermining her credibility. The bullying persisted, and the note on her backpack was the breaking point for Catherine. She couldn't bear it any longer. I entered Catherine's room and held my sobbing daughter tightly. Mom, I can't do this anymore. I just can't, she cried. I know, honey, I know. I'm so sorry, I murmured, hugging her tightly as tears streamed down both our faces. Eventually, exhaustion overtook her and she fell asleep in my arms. The following day, Catherine couldn't bring herself to face school and became truant. I visited the school and spoke with her teacher, explaining the bullying. He promised to address the issue and requested updates on Catherine's situation at home. As I left, passing Catherine's locker, I noticed the word bug scrawled above her name in marker. Pulling out a wet wipe from my purse, I scrubbed furiously, tears blurring my vision. Meanwhile, harassment at our restaurant persisted. Catherine remained secluded in her room, and my mother-in-law began frequent hospital visits, her health deteriorating. Bob coped by turning to nightly drinking, often passing out soon after. Our home was enveloped in a suffocating silence, each day heavier than the last. In the midst of these trials, my boss announced an all-staff training that I couldn't afford to skip. Unenthusiastically attending, I found myself pulled aside by an executive after dinner on the second night. Reluctantly entering his room, he offered a drink and mentioned our struggling restaurant. My heart sank realizing the news had spread here too. Mentally exhausted, I listened as he placed an envelope on the table, offering a new job opportunity with a $1,000 bonus each time I accepted similar tasks. The idea of financial relief tugged at my frayed emotions. $1,000 could really help, I thought, my resolve weakening. But then his casual mention of my child snapped me out of my stupor. The word child reminded me of the family I was failing, my husband Catherine, and my struggling mother-in-law. With a sudden clarity, I pushed his hand away and fled from the room, grabbing my things and racing into the pouring rain outside, regret and shame mingling with each step. Why had I even entered that room? I knew the risks, yet the desperation for stability clouded my judgment. Was it greed? No, it was more about survival. But I had betrayed Josh's trust, and the realization hit me hard. Tears mixed with rain as I ran, seeking refuge from my own compromised integrity. My phone buzzed. It was Catherine. Mom, Grandma kicked me out of the house. What? She kicked you out? Where's Dad? I demanded. He's been asleep since yesterday. I've been trying to wake him up, but he won't respond. He's not responding. Stay right there. I'm coming home. I instructed Catherine to wait outside and sprinted towards the station. Frantically, I called home and Bob, but got no answer. Arriving back, I found Catherine sitting forlornly by our spray-painted, shuttered door. Mom, are you okay? Why did Grandma kick me out? She asked tearfully, showing me a child's cell phone. I don't know, honey. Let's get inside. I unlocked the door and rushed in. The house was eerily dark. Sending Catherine to her room, I flicked on the living room light. My heart sank as I found my mother-in-law sprawled next to the table. Rushing to her side, I called her name, but there was no response. A glass of water and an empty pill packet nearby confirmed my fears. She had overdosed. I dialed 911 immediately. Heading upstairs, I discovered Bob slumped over his desk. Shaking him awake, he mumbled, I was working on bills when Mom brought me coffee. After drinking it, I felt so drowsy. I explained the situation, and together we hurried downstairs, desperately trying to rouse her. On the table, I found a note, penned in shaky handwriting. Bob Rachel, I'm grateful for all you've done. I can't go on here. I haven't touched my husband's life insurance. Use it and my savings to start fresh. Be happy. Thank you for my heart. Oh my God. Moments later, the ambulance arrived. They confirmed she was in a coma and rushed her to the hospital. Leaving Catherine at home, we raced to the ICU. 3 agonizing days passed before she regained consciousness and was moved to a regular room. Sitting by her bedside, I choked out, Why did you try to leave us? We need you. Tears streamed down my face as Bob stood silently beside me and mother-in-law wept quietly. Together, we faced the despair of almost losing her. Later, my mother-in-law confessed that after drugging Bob with coffee, she sent Catherine away to spare her from witnessing her in that state. A few days after this revelation, as Bob and I contemplated closing our restaurant, Josh paid us an unexpected visit at home. It's been a while. I greeted him warmly. He shared that they had identified the culprit behind the malicious social media post. It was a senior from Josh's university, the same blonde student who had verbally abused us in the restaurant. So, he had a personal grudge against our place. But we're seriously considering closing down. Bob admitted, his gaze sweeping across our worn-out shop with a sigh. What? You can't close the shop, I protested weakly, attempting a smile despite the heavy atmosphere. We've tried our best, but with all the bad publicity, it's been tough. We're exhausted. I'm sorry. If we manage to turn things around, please do visit us again. Josh looked at me earnestly, saying, I owe you both a lot. I won't let your shop go under. I promise. With determination etched on his face, Josh abruptly stood up and left our home. A few days later, as Bob fetched the morning paper from the mailbox, he discovered several letters inside. Initially dismissing them as pranks, he paused when he noticed a postcard that read, I missed the ramen from your restaurant. Curiosity piqued, he read through each letter, finding words of encouragement and hope for our shop's revival. I joined him to read the discarded letters, all echoing similar sentiments. We were bewildered, wondering who could have sent them. The following day, Josh returned with a grin. That blonde guy is dropping out of school. Puzzled, we asked for clarification. Josh explained that the student's life had been turned upside down by his own social media post. While some initially agreed with the negative comments about our restaurant, others began to criticize and question its validity. Josh strategically amplified these dissenting voices, sparking a wave of support against the accuser. Soon, momentum built to identify the person responsible for the false accusations. A few of Josh's college friends joined forces and speculated that the culprit lived in a nearby neighborhood after sharing a picture of a restaurant. During their investigation, they heard about a blonde student who bragged to his friends, my social media post is blowing up. It went viral after I wrote about some restaurant. Josh recalled the student's dismissive attitude from his visit to our restaurant. Suspecting a link, he and his friends delved into the blonde student's social media accounts and struck gold. The student had posted, that Chinese place kept pushing hand sanitizer on me. Annoying? A friend replied, yeah, the owner insisted once, and I just gave the waiter a glare. Convinced they had found their culprit, Josh thought, we need to expose this guy's actions. Discussing their findings with a friend, they discovered this friend knew a popular YouTuber with 300,000 subscribers who covered current events. The YouTuber agreed to make a video exposing how a beloved local restaurant was unfairly targeted by this blonde student. With the YouTuber's influence, the story spread rapidly. The blonde student hastily deleted his social media accounts, but screenshots and posts had already gone viral. He found himself in a situation he couldn't escape. After Josh initially shared the information, an online user managed to identify the blonde student and shared it widely. Soon, numerous users had uncovered his age, college, home address, photos of him, and even the name of the company that had extended him a job offer. The online backlash was swift and severe. The backlash against the student escalated dramatically. Threatening letters arrived at his home, and provocative YouTubers uploaded videos accusing him of ruining the Chinese restaurant. They even confronted his parents about their parenting, repeatedly ambushing them at their house. Eventually, the police had to intervene. Every day, suspicious individuals resembling YouTubers lingered around the student's residence, filming his family members' activities, scrutinizing their mail, and posting detailed videos online. During one confrontation with a YouTuber, the blonde student lost his temper, but another YouTuber captured the altercation and uploaded it, leaving him unable to retaliate further. The emotional toll on the student's family became overwhelming, yet the online attacks showed no signs of abating. On the university's website, numerous complaints were posted, condemning his actions with comments like, "Is this the type of student your university produces? What does the dean have to say about this?" The university summoned the blonde student and his parents to address the situation, warning that any further online issues could become a nuisance for the institution and might require disciplinary actions. Moreover, news of the social media incident reached the company where the blonde student had received a job offer. The company was flooded with inquiries and concerns, questioning the suitability of hiring such an individual. Suggestions to reconsider the job offer circulated widely, leading to reports that the offer was withdrawn. Similar complaints surfaced on his father's company website, prompting the company to question him according to their policies and caution him against allowing personal matters to impact business operations. He also had an older sister who was 2 years his senior. An anonymous letter detailing her brother's misdeeds was sent to her fiancé's home, leading to the cancellation of their engagement. Following these events, the blonde student withdrew from university and took up part-time work. Tensions escalated within his family, marked by nightly arguments and the sound of breaking objects. Eventually, the blonde student seemed to vanish from their home, leaving his whereabouts unknown. Josh reflected on the profound dangers of the internet through this ordeal. Encouraged by widespread support, including heartfelt letters from Josh, we made the decision to reopen our restaurant. A boost came from a popular YouTuber who urged viewers in a video, please visit their restaurant, which attracted a new wave of younger customers. Regarding my daughter, her teacher reached out, informing us that the entire class wanted to apologize. When we visited the school, all the students expressed remorse, saying, "We're sorry for calling you Bug." They also inquired about the YouTuber, highlighting the immense influence of social media personalities today. I have since left my previous job while Josh has returned to part-time work. Even my mother-in-law occasionally helps out at the restaurant, as we are now bustling with customers. Our entire family is deeply thankful for the outpouring of support. Each day, I greet our patrons with a smile, hoping they savor every bite of my husband's culinary creations.